I'm Mr. Hugs, and welcome to a segment we call Tip of the Needle. Now, Tip of the Needle is where I'm going to show you tips and tricks that will help make your knitting life a little bit easier. And in today's segment, we're talking about the LongTailCAstOn. The LongTailCAstOn is without a doubt my favorite cast on, and I use it in the majority of my work. Unfortunately, though, there are two major drawbacks to this cast on. One, you end up with a slip knot that's not like any of the other stitches you cast on, and personally it just doesn't look very good. And two, if you're casting on, say, 100 stitches for a project, quite often I do, it's hard to estimate just how much yarn you need. Well, here's a tip that will help alleviate both of those issues for you. First off, if I'm going to be casting on a lot of stitches with a long tail, I use 2 skeins of yarn, or in this case, 2 balls. It does take balls to knit. If I only have 1 skein of yarn, I'll use one that's wound as the center pole ball, and I'll be using the yarn from in the center and from the outside. You want to do this carefully because you don't want to get these twisted together. So let's use the 2 balls. What I do is instead of taking one ball and trying to estimate how much yarn I'm going to need and putting my slip knot there, I take 2 balls and I put my slip knot, I put them together, and I put my slip knot, leaving myself about 6 inches or so that I'm going to darn in later. Using those 2 balls, I create my slip knot. The rest is just doing your long tail like you normally would. I put them on the needle, make my heart, and start casting on. By doing it this way, I don't worry about running out of yarn ever, because both ends are attached to separate balls of yarn, and there's absolutely no waste. When I've cast on a number of stitches that I need, I simply break off one of the balls of yarn and start knitting with the other. Now, with regards to that slip knot that's not so aesthetically pleasing as the rest, what we do is we knit back on our first row, and when we get to it, we just slide it off our needle. Now remember, since you're not counting the slip knot as a stitch in your pattern, because we're getting rid of it, you cast on the number of stitches your pattern requires after your slip knot. So don't count it in your pattern. And if you're working in the round, you get rid of the slip knot and then join your first round. If you like that tip, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and you'll get all the tips as they come up. There'll be lots more in the future. And you can do me a great favor by helping me to spread the word about this by sharing this through any form of social media that you have. And remember, it takes balls.